Here we go. So we can try and save the evil Terran Empire, or we can be as the Klingons. Look at that, General Chang. Oh, that's good. And yeah, of course you can play as Spock. You've got the Cardassian Union. Well, that's a bit before Ducat's time, but anyway. Although I suppose he was an old Cardassian, but still I don't think it was that old. I can't remember if it's ever been specified how long Cardassians live for in any of the series, but oh. The Romulan Star Empire. Alright, so we'll go as the fledgling Terran Empire trying to survive and the recovery, dropping their evil ways, but of course everybody hates them. Here we go. So look at that, we've got some, looks like movie era ships. There's a Miranda, and looks like we've got some Constitution refits. That's, yep, the movie era Enterprise. And look at this big starbase. Starbase is really cool. They can take like pot shots at ships nearby and blast them out of the sky. Nice detail on the model as well. So you start with, obviously there's a hell of a lot coming at you, because it looks like you start with the Terran Empire's got some pretty decent stuff. They got lots of systems, lots of ships, they got big star bases, so I mean, you know, I'm guessing it's just gonna absolutely come at you. Like the Cardassian, the Klingons are just gonna have so much stuff. Oh boy. Look at all this. Is Earth here somewhere? It must be here somewhere. There is Earth, right, yeah. So I go into Earth. Let's have a look at the ships we can build. There you go, Constitution refit, and you can build original Constitution starships as well. Yeah, there it is, the Strength 3 upgrades to an Excelsior class. Make more sense to upgrade to the refit, but anyway. Refit upgrades to Ambassador. So it looks like if you can survive, you can get to next gen DS9 Era. Because of course I suppose the Mirror Universe mods cover all the different eras, so they've made sure that all the mods give you access to that kind of stuff. So the Gala's there, that looks pretty strong. Wow, if you get to the Defiant. Some heavy ships there, pretty strong. Oh, that's the old one. Oh, there's the Enterprise Era. 5 ship, yeah. So that one would be a very fun scenario. Trying to survive as the evil Terran Empire. Alright, let's get to the next one. So now let's cover the Voyager era. There's a couple of good scenarios here for Voyager fans. There's this one, the Hirogen Hunters. After the defeat of the holograms, the idea of revitalizing civilization is reborn. Can you change a nomadic people into a civilization, or will you continue your nomadic ways and continue the hunt? Not the best wording there on that description, but you get the point. So you can play as the Hirogen. You basically got to sort of unite and conquer your surrounding territories, and there's various well-known Voyager races from that time, that when Voyager was passing through and encountering the Hirogen. And then there's another one which I've decided I'm going to show you, because that one's pretty exciting, and that is, where is it? Oh, it's right next to it. The Kazon Unification. The year is 2373. After the USS Voyager leaves the area, the Kazon begin to think about forming a unified empire. But who should lead such an empire? Each faction wants control. See if you can lead your side to dominance. So here we go. We'll load this one up. So look at this. Of course, they got all the Kazon factions that we saw in the first 2 seasons of Voyager. The Kazon Ogla, the Oglamar, the Relora, Obi, Mostral, Nistrum, Pomar, So of course the ones we saw the most were Oglar and Nistrum. So yeah, we got to go with the Nistrum, I suppose. They were the appeared to be the most effective one. Magic Mage Color. Alright, well, get the tutorial stuff. Look at that. You get their ginormous bloody mothership thingos. Look at the size of these things. Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. And of course you've got their little fighters there as well from the looks of things. The little, yeah, there you go. Their little raiders, ships. Very nice. Have a look in there. A few Trek buildings and things. Very nice. So, in this scenario, you've got all the Kazon factions. You've got to try and unite or conquer, and then once you do, you then got to deal with their neighbours. So look at this. They've got the Vidians, the body snatchers, body parts harvesting people. That's the Kazon Relora, the Crotonan. I can't remember who that is. Hang on, let's have a look here. See if we know everyone. There we go. Oh, we only know the Kazon factions, we don't know the alien factions yet. The Harkonian. I'm almost saying Harkonnen from June. There's the Kazon Ogla. And Kazon Oglamar. So yeah, this is a fun one for Voyager fans. You can basically see what happened after Voyager left and create your own stories. That's pretty cool. Now let's do the TNG era, the next generation. There's some great next gen scenarios. In fact, probably most of them I would say fit into this era. This one is the Cardassian War, so you can sort of see because you don't really see, you hear them talking about it in the later seasons of the Next Generation, but you don't get to see it. You just hear about the Setlik 3 incident with Miles O'Brien and the horrors he saw there during that conflict with the Cardassians. And so this is set during that time. And I've had a look at it. You actually even see that the Setlik system, someone's even put it there, which was nice. And at the same time, the Cardassians are occupying Bajor, so I think there's a Bajoran faction, and good luck trying to survive this scenario if you're the Bajorans. It's there's some fun challenges here, and you can be the badass Cardassians conquering everyone. So it's there's lots of, once again, those what ifs scenarios, things we didn't get to see that you can play out and have a go with. So that's a pretty cool one. Then there's the Maquis Rebellion. So this is sort of next gen / DS9 kind of stuff, because it began in the Next Generation, and then of course it continued throughout the DS9 show. And so this is basically set in that time. So you've got the Federation, the Cardassians, and then the Maquis rebel group. So you can try and play as the Maquis, kicking everyone's ass, or try to, and not get you, probably more likely to get your butt kicked. But it'd be interesting to see how the mod's all balanced and how you can play effectively as the Maquis. So that'll be a fun one to do. And the one I'm oh no, sorry, there's another one, I'm forgetting one. The Klingon Civil War. So of course we remember this one from the Next Generation. When Worf resigns and goes to fight in the war on Gowron's side against the Duras sisters. So this is set during that war, and you can play as the Duras or as Gowron. And I don't think you can play as the Federation or the Romulans, but they are there. You've got Picard and you've got Sealer as non-playable factions that presumably, obviously, will do their best to get in the way of you, depending on which player you choose. You can either hinder or help you. So that's another great fun next-gen scenario. The one I'm going to show is the one I think is the coolest of them all, the Yesterday's Enterprise. So this one is basically set in the modified timeline, and sort of is the scenario where what if the Enterprise C doesn't go back into the rift, And history has been altered, and the Federation and Klingons are at war. The year is 2366, and a strange ship has appeared out of a temporal rift in Federation territory. Can you lead your side to victory? So we need to activate this mod. Here we go. So of course you got the Federation and the Klingons, which is interesting. They've chosen Lursa and Bajor as the protagonists. Start the game. Here we go. It's a very small one, so it's just it'll be a pretty full-on thing, won't it? Because look how tiny that map is. If I zoom out, in fact, it doesn't let me zoom out anymore because the map is so small. And so yeah, you got the Klingons here. In fact, the Klingons have less systems than the Federation, but presumably they've been given a ton of ships. Because I mean, you've got, you know, star bases and solar systems, and look at this. This is the best part. I love this. They've even recreated the events of the episode in a way down here. You've got the Enterprise D and the Enterprise C. And we can go engage these bird of preys if you want. Get him. Bang! We got one of them. But of course there's a few there. And of course the Enterprise C will probably get blown to bits. Bang! Bye bye Enterprise C. Oh dear. So, and of course there's the anomaly, which is interesting because I mean they're using the same thing as the wormhole thing, but I'm guessing it probably doesn't lead anywhere unless it leads to that, and that's death. But yeah, it's so this is a fun what if, you know, because let's face it, everyone who remotely liked Next Gen loved yesterday's Enterprise. It's considered one of the greatest episodes of the series. So to play a scenario set in that alternate timeline where you're fighting for survival as the Federation, you know, the 6 months they believe that they'll be forced to surrender. You know, God knows what the Klingons have in this shadowed area here. They must have just so many ships. Oh, they do have 4 systems, so it is even systems-wise, but presumably they've just got so many ships. Probably a swarm of Vorches and things. I wonder what the tech tree's like. No, there's none. So you got everything you can get, pretty much. I wonder if... Oops. Oh, well done. Jeez, those galaxies are fast. Yeah, they're not going to give you access to later Federation technology like the Sovereign and things. So it really is in the, as Picard said, in the here and now. It's all about that. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty, let's go to the next one, shall we? So let's do the original series era. There's plenty here for original series fans as well. We got Errand of Mercy. The Klingons have declared war on the Federation, but this time the Organians have failed to stop the war. So you know, this is based on one of those classic original series episodes where I think it was one of the first big Klingon episodes where they were both fighting over a planet, and there were this peaceful race on there that just didn't seem to be particularly bothered by anything, and they're just like, no, we're not going to defend ourselves, whatever. And of course it turned out at the end of the episode that they were super powerful and that they could just stop the conflict whenever they felt like it, and so the Klingons, the Federation, had to sort of turn their tails and head back to their respective spaces. And yeah, so this is sort of set in that area, but it's like, what if the Organians have failed to stop the war? So of course, if for original series fans, you get to have a big go with probably lots of Constitution-class starships and lots of Klingon ships from the original series era going at it. It's a fun one. And there's let me see, I've already shown the rise of the Terran Empire, which is set in the the fall of the Terran Empire, which is of course set in that sort of original series / movie era. And then there's what else is there? There's the Tombed incident, which is this is another one of those strange sort of what if, like something we haven't seen ones, even though the name is one people will recognise, but it's tensions are rising between the Federation and the Romulans, and it looks like it could boil into open war. The Klingons have vowed to declare war on the aggressor. Can you survive these troubled times? And it appears to be set just after Kirk disappeared in the Nexus, so you're sort of in that Enterprise B Excelsior era, and you can play as what was it, Captain Harriman, I think was his name on the Enterprise B. You can play as him, and yeah, it's basically a classic versus Romulans, Klingons sort of map, but it's just interesting because it's in that time between original series and next gen that we haven't really seen much of, and so that might be of interest to people who felt like after the final moments at the start of the Generations film, like sort of the final moments of the Kirk era, and you sort of want to see what happened after that. That's your chance. And what else have we got in the original series? Oh yes, the one I'm going to show you, and probably my favourite from the original series options, and that is from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. So it's pretty much set that exact moment. The year is 2393. Due to a plot, Chancellor Gorkon has been assassinated while attempting to make peace with the Federation after after the Praxis explosion. But this time the Enterprise fails to stop the plot and save the Kinema Accords. The Klingons have declared outright war. Uh-oh. So you can play as Kirk of the Federation. And hurry up video. There's this annoying delay between the OBS recording software in the game. So sometimes I'll start talking and they only to realise that nothing's on the screen. But anyway, nothing's on the video screen. There's something on my screen, but not on the video. Anyway, United Federation planets as Kirk, or the Klingon Empire as General Chang. So yep, we can start a game as Kirk. It's funny actually, it's an undiscovered country map, and so it's kind of funny when you see the Final Frontier come up there, because that was the movie beforehand. But you know, that's just a coincidence. This is based on the Final Frontier mods, that's why you're seeing that written there. So yep, oh yeah, we've got a few. We've got lots of star bases, don't we? We've got Excelsiors, Mirandas. There's some Klingons, Supernova, Wormhole. Very nice. Haven't we got an Enterprise? Bet we can build one though. It's got a Vulcan. See what those Vulcans are up to. Yeah, there we go. Constitution refit. Beautiful. Very nice. Oh. Bird of prey. Ah, as if it's stronger. Romulan D7. Ah yes, this has to be from original series. The Romulans were using Klingon ships in exchange for giving the Klingons cloaking tech. The story version of basically the original series didn't have the budget to build another ship, another Romulan ship, so they just went, well, we love our Klingon design, it's probably one of the best ships models we've built, so let's give them to the Romulans. Make a story out of it. But yes, this looks like a pretty fun mod for those fans who love the movie Undiscovered Country and want to have a go. Looks like we've got some other races though. You got the Romulans in there as well, even though you can't play as them. It looks like they can have involvement in this conflict. And so is there anyone else? No, those are just anomaly. So yeah, Klingons, Romulans, Federation. Good old movie era scenario. It'd be quite fun to play. Alrighty, so I think that just leaves Enterprise era now, so let's go to that one. Alrighty, now for Enterprise fans, you've got some pretty cool scenarios. There's a bunch of them. There's this one, the 22nd Century, which is sort of set around I guess the first season of the show. And so this is almost like a sandbox game in that you've got all the sort of factions and alien races and everything, but it's in that early era, and so you can go and meet the Romulans and the Klingons and battle it out and all that kind of stuff. So that's a pretty fun one for people who really love the Enterprise series, but I'm going to show some other ones. let me see. Yes, they got one set around season 3 with the Xindi one, and it's kind of cool because you actually get to start the map. This is more of what looks like an adventure map because you basically start as the Enterprise entering Xindi space. I mean, I'll very quickly load this one. So you can play as Jonathan Archer of Starfleet. I'll wait for the video recording software to catch up. There we go. And hit OK. And there's been attacks by a species called the Xindi from the Delphi Expanse. The Starship Enterprise has been sent to find the Xindi and prevent another attack. A mining colony has been reported to have a Xindi by a freighter. So basically you go after the... So here we go, we've just crossed the Expanse, entered into Xindi space, and there's the Enterprise. The adventure awaits, so they obviously want you to go and take this mining colony. Because, I mean, it's funny, they've created an adventure thing in a Civ game, and in a Civ game you've got to have cities, otherwise I think you end up in real trouble. So I think you've got to take this mining colony as yours, and then that'll allow the story to continue, and then you go on an adventure through Xindi space, which looks like it's of decent size. Actually, that's as far right as I can go. So yeah, it's about a medium-sized map. So that'll be a fun adventure map for Enterprise fans. So let's go to another Enterprise scenario. This is the one I really want to show you guys. This is really cool. They basically created a scenario around the Earth Romulan War, which of course happened just after the show got axed, sadly. So the rumor has it the season sort of 5, 6, 7 we would have got to seen some of that conflict, which would have been really cool because it was something we've been hearing about since the original series. This epic war that the Federation won, and so now you get to have a go at it. So yeah, you can. It's kind of funny actually. For the United Earth, they've gone and picked an admiral from the evil mirror universe Terran Empire. But anyway, you've got the Vulcan High Command, Andorians, Republic of the Tellarians, and the Romulan Star Empire, which of course has what's his name? I always forget that actor's name, but yeah, he played a good evil Romulan in that episode of Enterprise in the final season. So actually, let's do something different. I'm always starting as the Federation, so let's do Romulan Star Empire. Admiral Valdor. Welcome to the final frontier. Alright. Wow, this is a big map. Looks like we can see everything already. So you can, yeah, there's quite a few factions here. Looks like that's Federation Blue. So yeah, the Federation are... It's actually difficult because it looks like the Federation's still unallied. So, the Vulcans are separate factions and the Andorians and all that, so, geez, you're going to be in a bit of strife for a while there, I think, depending on how intelligent your allies are. Because the Romulans have got a full-blown empire. They don't need anyone's help. They are ready to strike. They got Romulan Bird of Praise. What do we got here? Drone ship. Ah yes, I remember that from the Enterprise episode. Yep. Using them to harass and try and start a war between people. And let's have a look at our relations. Most people hate us though, of course. Oh, you got some non-playable Orion Syndicate. Oh, the Duras Klingons are there as well. Awesome. And what do we got in the technology tree? Probably all sorts of things here. Look at this. So yeah, I haven't shown much of this, but a lot of these scenarios actually do have dedicated tech trees for their particular situation, which is pretty cool. It's all about getting to that Warp 7 drive. Wow. And if I go to the Civilopedia units, yeah, the good old NX class there, and oh, we got the cell ship from the Suliban. Romulan bird of prey. Should there be a Klingon bird of prey in here somewhere? Tellarite ship. Stealth ship. Raptor. The Orion ship. Yeah. Alright, well that's, I think that's everything. I mean, there's really only one other scenario, which I'll just simply mention, and that is the Eugenics Wars, which is a regular Civ 4 map, like actually on a planet, you know, fighting on a planet's surface, and that's a kind of a cool one for original series fans, in that you can play as Khan. If you ever wanted to be Khan, fighting in the, was it 1989 for domination of the Earth and survival, then that's another little extra fun map on there as well. And I had a go at it, and there's your map of Earth, and you got lots of cities, and there's battleships in the ocean, missiles and planes and everything. And so yeah, it's a traditional Civ style game, but set in the alternate timeline, Star Trek sort of universe where Khan rises to power, which obviously didn't happen in the real world, but that's just a final scenario, and I think that's covered all of them. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tour of this amazing mod, and if you're a Trek fan and you want to play a really awesome strategy game and create your own sort of stories with a game where you really can sort of do what you want, then this really is perfect. It's definitely one of the best Star Trek mods out there, in my opinion. So go and have a go at it. Alright, that's it for this one. I'm going to go do the Babylon 5 one now, so if you're a Babylon 5 fan, go check that out. Bye.